Hello, everyone. Luca here from the night shift on CJRU 1280 AM. We are here as part of the CJRU Presents Toronto Live Off the Floor series. I'm very excited for this interview that's going to be going down today. I'm going to be chatting with a musician, a writer, performing artist, a youth worker, social activist, programming facilitator, and an amazing mom who's creating experimental hip-hop, 90s house, jungle, drum and bass mashed up with insanely imaginative, genius spoken word. Anthems designed to combat the colonization of the mind, body, and soul that sound as relevant and powerful on a dance floor in 2021 as they would in an underground rave near Ontario Place in 1996, or on an updated soundtrack to the original Ghost in the Shell or the first Matrix movie. I am referencing, obviously, the legendary humble warrior, the great Sydanie. How is it going?
Oh my gosh, I feel like I've never had anybody speak about me in such an amazing way. Okay,
oh,
video
no,
going. What?
Yeah, the video's there.
Okay, good.
I can hear you.
Okay, sick. Oh my god, that's so flattering.
How's everything going?
Like, revel in that moment. Like, okay, I'm good. After hearing like that, I'm pretty good.
I've really been looking forward to this interview since first seeing you decimate at a long winter many moons ago, just killing it. I'm like, holy cow, no one sounds like her in the city. She's just an absolute force of nature. So I'm loving the latest single, Purple Carousel. And yeah, there's a lot of things in the works right now. So just, to start it all off, just would love to know how things are going on your end.
Honestly, like, to keep it 1,000, like, quarantine has been like really shitty to me. You know what I mean? Like, it's been hard for a lot of people. Hold on for a second. Yes, Mama. Okay. It's been hard for a lot of people, but it's been hard for me and my daughter, you know what I mean? Like, it's just her and I by ourselves. And just in terms of how honest I've had to be with myself about just not necessarily like the complexity of like my mental wellness and my resources and like what community looks like. And like some days looking at those things feels like very empowering because it's like, I've been doing it, and even through this like literal pandemic, you know what I mean? I'm still doing it. And other days it's just like other days it's pretty crazy, so but generally, like, I'm good, you know what I mean? I'm good.
That's good to hear. So you released Purple Carousel, produced by the amazing Casey MQ, and I want to talk about that, but before that, something that you were also part of during this time, in conjunction with the amazing Mocha Project, is the fundraiser that occurred, I think it was in June, a fundraiser to support 3 Black mothers investing their time and efforts into 3-stream labor doula, postpartum labor, and educator program. I'd love to learn how that all turned out. What's the future for that right now?
So basically, things are kind of still up in the air because like the original program that I wanted to do everything through, it was like a very general, so like, let me backtrack. When I had originally started and planned the fundraiser, it was really just kind of piggybacking off of the energy of like the reparation energy, really, and saying, okay, this is something that I need to do for myself in order to ensure some kind of like self-sufficiency. And then, when I put the feeler out there before I actually dropped the GoFundMe, like the amount of people who had responded, I was like, oh, okay, like maybe I'll do it for a few more people. And over time, it just grew and grew. So the expectation and the commitment behind it grew. You know what I mean? Like I had originally priced it. I'm being like super transparent. You know what I mean? Like I had originally priced it at like a general online doula program. You know what I mean? I knew what program I wanted to take for myself, but I just priced it at a general online Canadian because the pandemic. Like I don't know when I would be able to go. So it was for like Doula Canada. Doula Canada online, like that. And then when we received so much money, like I said, it increased the level of commitment to the people who are applying. So it's like, okay, now I have to make sure that the same things that I wanted for myself, I'm able to acquire for the people who are going to be receiving the funding. So I've been connecting with different doula training organizations, and I actually have a few phone calls scheduled today. One is with Shafia Monroe. She's a Black doula that's based in the States. She's been doing work for decades, just in terms of teaching Black doula work specifically. I've also been in contact with Vivo Mia. They're like a Toronto-based online doula program. Just trying to make sure that like we get the best bang for our buck. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
But that's where we're at with that right now. But also, actually, this coming weekend, we have so again, like after just working around the energy of like reparations during like the BLM times, like Mocha Project received basically like we were donated a cottage for the weekend to do like some like professional development, a professional development retreat for
that's
like
amazing.
our team. So we're doing that this weekend, and like we're really excited about that. But like that's been pretty like that was like a very interesting, it's continuing to be like a very interesting like ride.
And for folks who don't know about the Mocha Project, this is an amazing initiative, community-led healing arts program. Can you talk more about the Mocha Project?
So the Mocha Project basically was something that kind of came out of my own experience as a single mom and being an artist and just needing space for my child as well as for like my artistry, and like understanding the lack of infrastructure that's in the city, knowing like I'm not necessarily able to maybe facilitate professional development for moms and artists, because that's like a lot. People are barely even able to do that for artists alone in the city, but that's another conversation. You know what I mean? But just like facilitating creative spaces based on like the parents that are making things. And I started that in 2016. And, since then I received 2 grants from Artreach for the program. I've done I did like a showcase back in like 2018, I think it is. Oh my gosh, my brain. One second. I did a showcase in like 2018 for it. And we were ready to launch with 2020 programming when we got hit with COVID. Not actually COVID, but the lifestyle. COVID lifestyle. You know what I mean? The era. So the era of COVID. So like,
my goodness.
Right. So in just like honoring the fact that like I'm short on spoons as it is, I wasn't really rushing. I wasn't really rushing the process of transitioning to online programming, but that's something that we're definitely working on for the ending of the year, for the fall season or the ending of the year.
That's awesome. So I mentioned the track before, Purple Carousel. The last 2 singles, both produced by KCMQ. And are these looking forward to be part of the Eclectic Circus release?
Right. So like everybody knows me, messy marketing. Hello. So like, yes, Purple Carousel is definitely going to be on Eclectic Circus. But I kind of just like pushed it out based on like the climate of like what's going on. It's like it doesn't even like the not the necessity, well kind of, yeah, the necessity for me to like put so much energy into like marketing the song the way that I would want to in like a totally different climate is kind of not there. So, and it was more based on like what the song means and what's just going on in the world right now, like how important it was for me to put it out. But it's definitely going to be on Eclectic Circus, which I hope to put out before the end of the year. Big hope, but you know, messy marketing money, like look at it.
So that's going to be like an interesting release where it's kind of taking in, you know, the vibes and just the attitude. Oh, no worries. In the meantime, Sydanie mentioned spoons before, and I couldn't help notice, but I have a plastic spoon right beside me. So, you know what? It's a good spoon. I haven't used it in a while, but it's just here. It's always here beside me. So hopefully you can kind of look to the spoon. We're back.
We're back. Commercial break. Hello. Brought to you by Child Mind Incorporated. So back to Eclectic Circus. Like this is going to be like an album like touching on different eras, like almost like a pre and post new normal kind of scenario. It's pretty fascinating if you think about it. Right? I mean, I never really thought of it that way, but that's what it's going to be.
So are we thinking about like, is KCMQ going to be across the board when it comes to production on this release?
Not Eclectic Circus, but Casey is definitely like somebody that I've been working closely with, and like, you know, we definitely have some things in the works. I don't want to talk too much on things, but me and Casey definitely have some things in the works. Like I've always like in, you know, my lone wolf greatness, have always had like a real hard time finding people that I mesh with and have that artistic chemistry with, and Casey is just that. Casey is my boo when it comes to the beats, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm very excited for, you know, future releases. But you know, Casey is a main friend on Eclectic Circus for sure.
Oh, I love it. Amazing musician. I also wanted to reference another fantastic Toronto musician who was longlisted for this year's Polaris Prize. You've performed together, I think, a couple times. Definitely, I think, at Camp Wavelength in 2018, but a collab with the Great Buxom would ever be in the works again.
Honestly, like it's been a while since I've hollered out a Buxom, you know what I mean? But you know, hopefully sometime in the future, because you're, you know, Southside J, you know what it is. Like, hopefully sometime in the future, me and a Buxom can get it cracking, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm just going back into your back catalog, thinking about like Public Intoxication, Stillwater, which was a few years after that. I feel like there was a definite transition when it comes to just definitely the vibe of the music, just the soundscape of Sydanie in itself. Like, could you describe that there was like a general transition into this world where, you know, there was heavier kind of jungle, drum and bass beats going on? And yeah, just, you know, paired with, you know, your immaculate spoken word, amazing rapping. But yeah, I'm just curious if there was any artists or albums that maybe kind of had a big effect on you.
If there's anything that had a specific effect, I feel like I've always had a real love and like deep desire to make house music, to just be outside the box in terms of where I come from and like what is expected of me as a female rapper. I feel like though a large part of my transition was becoming a mom, because it kind of allowed me to like take up a little bit more of my own space, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, it was definitely becoming a mom that initiated the process of just making more music that I wanted to sound like, basically.
Now, when you touch on house, like, Are there any artists that you could reference, or any artists that you would want to share with folks? Like, just like get these people in your headspace, because they're so special to me. I'd love to share them with the folks out there.
You know, that's the thing. Like, even now, I feel my musical catalog and like what I listen to is so vast and it doesn't necessarily reflect the music that I make. And I feel like the music that I make is more connected to a process of like blooming and like coming into all of what I grew up listening to, what I know, like, you know what I mean? And it's not necessarily like, okay, you know, once Confined was born, I started listening to like 90s house music more. Like I've always had, you know what I mean? Like I've always had like a very like deep appreciation for music and different types of music. I grew up eclectic, you know what I mean? Which is part of why Eclectic Circus, like Eclectic Circus and Electric Circus merging, you know what I mean? That is what the project is about, you know what I mean?
Oh my God, I love it.
You know what I mean? Like me kind of stepping into, you know, like, well, not necessarily stepping into, because I feel like that was what 999 was, but, you know, more blooming and like opening up more into like the different spaces that I've come from, you know what I mean? And like when we think about house music, jungle music, any form of like what's considered like alternative to hip hop, but still under like the same like kind of like party, at least in my mind, umbrella, you know what I mean? Like, it's all one thing for me, you know, and Eclectic Circus is about me being able to bring that more together.
Do you feel like a bit of Toronto soul was lost when they kind of cut off the Electric Circus events going on, Speaker's Corner, that whole thing?
I feel like it's hard for me to even talk about that stuff, because like, okay, Toronto, even like the last little leg of Toronto cultural party era, like I was bunkered down on mom duty, you know what I mean? So like I missed out on what could have possibly been like, you know, the very
maybe you're bringing it back though,
bit, like the last squeeze of the lemon, so to speak, you know what I mean? And like to me, based on like how low-key cocky I am with myself, you know what I mean? Like when I think about myself compared to like what my city has to offer right now, it's like, it's tragic. I feel like Toronto culture, it's in one way there's like a renaissance happening, but in another, like there's so much things dying around it. So it feels like some like, I don't know, some dystopian. What's that movie where the mom has the baby when the world is coming to an end?
Honey, I Blew Up My Kid? Oh, no, that's...
it's like some dystopian movie.
Oh, no, like, Children of Men.
Yes, there we go, honey.
There you go, I was way off. My first answer is anything movie-related. I'm going to go with something that Rick Moranis had something to do with, but definitely Children of Men. I'm pretty sure he wasn't in that movie.
That's how I feel about Toronto culture. Toronto culture is on some Children of Men shit. I might be that mom still.
But maybe you're bringing it back. Maybe Eclectic Circus is coming out to save the soul of the city.
Oh my God, no.
I'm just going to put that on your shoulders. I'm just putting it on your shoulders, low-key. Don't worry about it.
That is a crippling weight. Oh, I shouldn't use that word, but that is a very weighty responsibility. I mean, well, you know, I feel like I will definitely say this. I have absolutely no qualms, no argument in terms of my value to the Toronto culture and scene and like the next generation of sound, because, you know, just again, like the unification, I feel like my music really speaks to like the unification of so many different cultures that have existed in Toronto over time, you know what I mean? Like even the house music era, Canada had bops. Canadian artists put out bare bops in the 90s, you know what I mean? You're a superstar, you know what I mean? Like we had bare jams, and it's black people, black women women, you know what I mean? So, you know, like, I feel like, yeah, I have no problem to say, like, my value to the Toronto scene is, like, you know, 1 to none, you know what I mean?
Speaking of, you know, plugging the community, plugging the city, really, I go back to the track 200K. And just the line, I'm a jerk B, real spicy, cool ting going down nicely. Now, of course, you know, a nice cold ting is, you can't beat it. It's arguably the most refreshing beverage in this universe. But I told you before last week, I might dive into plugging a couple restaurants or two. What if you were to plug a jerk spot in the city? One or two, or just a really great neighborhood restaurant in general, what would it be?
Honestly, there's only one place, and I argue about this with people in my neighborhood all the time.
Oh boy.
There's one place on the Jane that you can get sick jerk chicken, and it's Jerk Box. Don't ever tell anyone. I'm never gonna repeat this again, because you know what I mean. This is I'm never repeating this again. Jerk Box. Jane and Lawrence, I will ride till I die for that place. You know what I mean? Like, soft rice. The what? Let's go. The gravy always on point. I'm sweating just thinking about it.
Have you been there since this all this stuff has been going down?
What? Definitely.
Okay. Good. Okay, I'm just making a note of that.
Supporting local businesses. Hello.
Yeah, I love it. I was also gonna think maybe Caribbean Queen near Weston and Finch. When I was at CJRU,
is actually pretty good too, but that is farther north. I feel like if I live on Weston Road, but if I was on that side of Finch, then yeah, I would say Caribbean Queen for sure. But on this side, on that side of Weston Road, then for sure Caribbean Queen. But down here, Jerk Box is undefeated. So I feel like some people might say like King's Delight or something, but
I choose Dairy Queen.
Okay, Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen's an underrated spot.
Yeah.
So that's a good one to shout out.
She's a Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen on Western Road is an underrated spot. So like, you know what I mean? But I don't know. They don't have no vegan options yet, so I don't
know. So we're plugging the spot. So Jerk Box is the place to check out, folks. Right now, yeah, CJRU presents Toronto Live Off the Floor. The night shift's Luca Capone here chatting with the legend, formerly known as City Spitta, Sydanie in the house. We are here. We're talking tunes. I have to do a throw. Speaking of great interviewers, I have to throw back to many moons ago. And when, you know, getting into the world of, you know, spoken word, poetry, I got to talk about the great Sydanie interviewing the likes of Whitney French and Keisha Monique Simpson for Diva Mag. That's crazy.
Oh my God. I've been doing my work, like, I've been out here. Oh my gosh. Yeah, yo. Oh man, I was like a my youth those times. I was for sure like, I don't even think I was 18 yet. For sure, like maybe 17. Like Diva Mag times. Oh man. What? Oh my goodness.
But that must have been cool.
Great interviewer. This was awesome. Oh my goodness. This is great. Oh my gosh. Oh man, if you're just stepping into this and you missed it, sorry guys. This was great. See, I'm sweaty. I get sweaty for everything.
Same here. I'm a natural sweater. But yeah, that must have been pretty awesome. Like, you know, being part of like a kind of small kind of community thing like that and getting to connect with a lot of folks.
Yeah, I have a lot of different interests. As an artist, I feel like that's natural. And yeah, I feel like those are really great opportunities just in terms of, again, trying my hand at different things. I've been saying I want to do a podcast, been saying I want to do something of that nature. So procrastination Patty's the name, you know? So, but it's definitely something that I want to do because I feel like I'm kind of good at it, you know?
Hey,
we're great people like you.
we're in the world of radio right now. Community radios. We're in the whole vibe of it right now. CJRU and Sydanie. Boom.
Right?
That's a marriage that needs to happen.
Like, I mean, hey, I'll get on an Instagram radio station at this point. Like,
So we touched on Diva Mag. This is a super nerdy throwback, but I think the project's really interesting, and it's kind of like an ongoing thing throughout the city. But what was it like being published in the TDSB's Urban Voices? That must have been pretty cool.
This guy's on some Nargar shit. You know what's funny? I was at my mom's house the other day, and like literally, so it must have got published like June, some day in the second week of June. And I was at my mom's house, and I took a picture, and I was gonna post it on my Instagram, but I'm the worst at engagement and stuff like that. But like, even as time goes on, reflecting and looking back, like every couple days, I just think to myself, I'm like, man, I've been about this shit. Like, I've been lit. And it's like, yeah, like high school was such a hard time for me. That's the thing. Like, high school was such a hard time for me. Like, I don't know, maybe I'll get big enough where one day, like, you know, I'll have a nice, like, documentary type, in-depth thingamabobber. But, you know, like, high school was real hard for me. And, like, that being published in, what's it called, like, Urban Voices or
Urban Voices, yeah.
Yeah, Urban Voices being, I see you, TSB. Anyway, being published in Urban Voices was a really huge accomplishment for me at the time, because I was bouncing around school. I wasn't really taking classes seriously, but it's like any little opportunity I can get to make myself feel like my brain is still working through all of what was going on. I was like, okay, I took it. And that was one of those opportunities. So looking back on it, it's like, we'll pound back.
That's awesome. And it's still like an initiative, the thing that keeps on going on every year. It's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I actually should like check it out.
So we're chatting with a former Urban Voices alumni, champion of the Jane and Finch rap competition, MC battle way back when. One project that I'd love to learn more about. You were touching on the Mocha project before. This is a pretty fascinating one, and I just love to learn where it is right now, but the visual and audio soundscape that connects community, gestation.
Oh man, so gestation was actually like a project that I applied to Artreach for. Artreach. And I think it was for Artreach has like a competitive type granting thing that I had pitched that project for. But when I didn't get the money, I kind of was just like, I'm not, like, I don't know what on with it. But I feel like now that I kind of have more of the resources to put together, it's something that I had started that I didn't continue because I didn't have the resources. But it's like, yo, Luca's giving me some sticky notes to put on the computer.
But it sounds like such an interesting project.
Honestly,
this is such a multimedia kind of thing.
I have literally 999 very interesting. And a lot of them, like 99% of them have just been based on like resources, an intersection of like resources and time, more so resources, because as challenging as it might be sometimes, like I've gotten used to bringing my daughter places, you know what I mean? And if people don't know what time it is, that's at this point it's their loss, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think there's many projects that I kind of just like, based on what was available to me at the time, I wasn't able to fulfill it. But even as far as quarantine goes and looking for ways to occupy space in an informal way, I feel like that this is a great time and a great opportunity for me to take another crack at it. I actually tried to take a crack at it last year very quietly, and obviously that did not happen. So.
Well, you know what, I
but
hope...
gestation, little baby egg, whenever it's supposed to be born, it will be born.
Breathe it into the universe. We have to breathe the gestation magic into the realm. And I hope we can make it work, because it sounds amazing. It sounds so fascinating.
Oh my gosh, I had little sticky notes like this was the greatest interview ever. Like, I can't even get a moment into like demystify.
I appreciate you for putting up with my array of random questions. But I think we're wrapping it up now. One last one, just super basic, just, who do you want to shout out in the world? Who needs the love? And where can folks find more information on the world of Sydanie?
Who do I want to shout out right now? Honestly, I want to shout out Azalea Banks right now, because that's my, she doesn't know she's my, that's my, you know what I mean? Like, that's, you know what I mean? My people, you know what I mean? I want to shout out every other Black woman, every other dark-skinned woman who has been, forcibly removed or confined to space, ostracized based on like their mental health, their socioeconomic status, how many children they have, how many children they don't have, the work that they deal with or choose not to deal with. I want to give love and show love to those folks.
Awesome. And yeah.
I also want to show love to all of the, yes, Kafai said I need to show her some love, so shout out to my daughter. I also want to send some love to all of the people, all of the Black women in Toronto who've been doing frontline work, whether it be on the streets or on the internet every day, sharing resources. I have specifically chosen not to engage in that type of work and try my best to just be as deeply immersed in Black joy for my own mental health. And that's my own revolutionary work. But I really, really, really want to shout those people out right now, because it's so taxing. It's so taxing. And like, those people definitely deserve at least a little tail up. So shout out to you down there.
Thank you, Sydanie, so much. Peace.